Alright, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. These are the two Schefflera plants I have left over. Really cool plants. Experimented with them through time. This one here, I actually tried repeatedly defoliating, letting the branches kind of stretch out and give me something to wire. That was when it was in a different pot. And I mean, basically it did that, got super leggy, and then every time I put some wire on the branches, basically, you know, I'd take it off and they just snap back to what they were. I do think now with what I've kind of learned throughout time, I could have probably left the wire on a little bit longer. I probably could have done even some of the lignified branches a little more. But at this point here, I think these two trees, I'm just going to go ahead and just do some clip and grow with them. I have found that they don't respond. They respond really well to wintertime chopping and spring chopping, and then maybe some summer cleanup. And so I think just as a yearly plan, I'm going to go with giving them a good, here we are, late winter, early spring chop. Actually, when I do start doing the work, I'll see if I can give you guys a little bit of a better close-up, but just now starting to get a ton of new growth, very, very small leaves right at the end. They do get, let's see if I can show you guys. Actually, that branch there is a good one. Very similar to ficus in that they have the stem with the growing tip at the end. Everything comes out of that. These are all just leaves. Difference between here and a ficus is they're almost like a compound leaf where it has the long petiole, I do believe it's called, connected to the stem. If you do ever just want to defoliate, I usually just leave the petiole attached, and they'll brown up and fall off within a few days anyway. It's a lot less work if you just come out here and cut the leaves off. And I think it leaves the trunk more intact to just kind of reject the stem on its own. But you guys can probably see, got lignified wood starting about right in there. And this is all pretty much last year's growth, and I did let them grow since the last time I pruned them. And so today, I'm going to probably take about half of the green growth out of each one. Try not to, they do canopy out nicely. This one, you know, the main part of it is over here. This is one of the things that happened to me when I was defoliating. It got a long shoot off that way. But I kept it because it did start getting some aerial roots off of it. Some of them are even reaching the ground there and everything. And so I kept it, kind of potted it off to the side. Didn't really, the leggy growth here went up instead of out like it did on that side. As I was saying, I don't really want to cut everything off evenly because I would like it to be somewhat interesting. This one's getting a little more of an interesting canopy in that it's not all at the same level. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Alright, the first part of that video was January 28th. Today is mid-March. I think it's March 12th, 11th, something like that. So about a month and a half. And you can see coming back with a nice small leaves. As the summer goes on, there'll be some, as they get bigger, right when you prune them, they come out really small. And then, of course, as it grows more, they get larger and larger and everything. I mean, they get bigger as you go, right? That's what she said. But I cut that one out just because it was crowding into that one there. And as the summer goes by, I will go ahead and just, prune a couple that, start crowding out other branches. I mean, actually, even just this leaf right here is kind of overshadowing these little ones. I just would like that to be its own little pad out there. But it turned out pretty nice. And again, just to show those little small leaves. This Schefflera will actually get a little bit of dieback. But this is actually one of the reasons why I don't use cut paste. If you look at this one right here, it's got a bud coming right out of the top. And I just kind of feel like had I sealed that up, it wouldn't have the bud coming out of the top. And then out here at the end, you can see some smaller buds coming out here. And of course, it's the furthest away from the trunk where the buds are not going to be as readily, you can even notice how these are much bigger where that's right on top of the main part of the trunk. And then it takes a little longer to kind of get out here. Even if I had put a little paste on the end of each of those, this would still die back to the nearest live bud. And they get so many live buds, it's just not worth it. So I don't know, I'm just not much on using cut paste and everything, but that's this guy. Let's get the other one. Alright, here's the other one. This one budded out a lot quicker than the other tree did. Most of the leaves are still good and small on it. You can see in the middle, some of them came out really quick, got big really quick. These two right here, these two branches, that might have not been the best angle there for you guys, but they were coming straight off the trunk, or straight up off the trunk. So I took those off of another branch, I guess, if you will. The trunk is way down here. This one I'm going to try to keep, but so it does seem like when it gets those new shoots out like that and they come out really quick, the leaves get really big really quick on those. I don't know what the science on that is, especially being that it was a new shoot. But again, about a month and a half after a heavy chop like that, I mean, of course, you guys just saw it in the video. Looks like this branch might become a loser here. There is this aerial root kind of coming down from it that still is, it doesn't feel dead yet. I mean, when these things drop down and they dry up and die off, you'll touch them and they just they're brittle. There was about 3 buds coming off of it. I try not to water too much when there's no leaves on it because, you can cause a little bit of rot if you're watering it too much and there's no uptake. And somehow or another, it looks like it might have given up on that little branch there, but in a way, kind of sticking out farther anyway. But I'll let it go for a little while through the summer to let it decide what it's going to do with that. I mean, if it starts growing, it'll keep it. If it doesn't, I'll just cut it off the next time I prune it.